Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2026 Nissan Armada Pro-4X. Up front is a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, and down below is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video here today because I've spent not only the last week here in the frigid cold streets of Chicago and some non-streets, but the Pro-4X is the off-roady version of the Armada. This gets some very healthy upgrades over the standard Armada, and I'm excited to share them with you because this thing has been absolutely eating up the snow over the last several days. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3.5-liter twin-turbo under the hood. Well, it makes 425 horsepower, and that is the same amount of horsepower that every Armada will make besides the Nismo. The Nismo does jump up 35 horsepower to 460 horsepower, but everything else gets to 425, and honestly, I've driven the Nismo. You're not missing a whole lot. For how big the vehicle is, you don't really notice 35 horsepower. Which means this still feels wonderful. I love driving the Armada in all of its configurations, and the Pro-4X has some fun off-roady bits that we'll talk about later on. Like I said, paired to it is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Shifts well, handles the job, and it allows for the Armada to be able to tow 8,500 pounds. So if you're headed out to the trail, you're headed out to the rocks, out to Moab, you can also tow that trailer with your UTVs, ATVs, side-by-sides, or even another Nissan Armada on the back. So very, very nice to see that 8,500 pound towing capacity. Last but not least, of course, it is four-wheel drive. Now the Pro-4X does get electronically locking differentials to help out with that. How does it feel to drive the Armada? Well, I like it a lot. The Pro-4X is a little bit more aggressive, and it drives a little bit more aggressively. It definitely doesn't ride nearly as nice as the Platinum Reserve. However, that should be pretty clear. Work boots don't feel like slippers for a reason. And so this does have a lot more of an aggressive drive. The steering is somewhat heavy, just a little bit heavier than I am used to for vehicles like this, but it's not overly heavy. You're not gonna pull a hamstring trying to turn the thing. So nice to see that. Visibility is decent. Ride is a little bit stiffer again than the Platinum Reserve, things like that, but of course, that's to be expected. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I really like this from Nissan. This is shared across all of the Armadas as well. It's pretty clear, easy to read, and I don't have to think much about it. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control as well as volume. And off to the right, we have our selectors, voice commands, as well as paddle shifters found around the back of the steering wheel. Off to the left, we do have our climate control vent, our lane keep assist, accent lighting, and our rear tailgate release. And moving on to the door, we have 2 memory seats, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we have a continuation of that display screen. We do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I have used this system in lots and lots of vehicles, not only the Armada, but the Murano, the QX60, the QX80, the Kicks, the Leaf, the Sentra. I like it a lot. I think it's really easy to use. For a first-time user, they're gonna be able to navigate it really, really well. I drive so many different cars. I'm used to most infotainment systems by now, but I do think that this is a pretty well-engineered one. It's not flashy. It's not, writing a new story, but it works. And I like that about it. We do get a 360 camera. We get trail cameras here for the Pro-4X that have been very, very helpful. And overall, I am a big fan of this display. Down below, we have physical buttons for our volume, skip track, camera, and hazard switch with 2 climate vents. And we have physical climate controls, dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats. We have our drive mode select, tons of different drive modes to go through here. We have our 4-wheel drive settings, rear differential lock, as well as our traction control off. We have our shifter, our auto raising button, and our auto start stop button. So a lot of tactile buttons here in the center of the Armada Pro-4X, and I really, really like that. I think it works well. Then we do have a wireless charger as well as 2 USB-C inputs. And cup holders off to the right. We'll do a big freaking bottle test. Every Armada we've tested has failed, and this 2026 Pro-4X is no different. And we do get a lovely center console. The seats are comfortable. I do love this stitching on the seats. I love that they say Pro-4X, just like the Nissan Frontier that shares the same trim. They've been very comfortable, especially the heated seats have been very, very useful this last week, so I'm very appreciative of them. And I've done road trips in Armadas. I've driven Armadas long distances, and my back never hurts after those drives, so I really, really like that. However, speaking of seats, we do have 2 more rows of seating, so let's go do some backseat reviews in the new Pro-4X Armada. All right, getting in the back of the Armada Pro-4X. Step up here, but you do have a grab handle. Forgot to mention, we do have a Klipsch audio system, which is very, very nice. But once we are back here, very, very nice to see. Now, something to note is that these are captain's chairs. The Pro-4X for 2025 was only available with a bench seat. So now, for 2026, you can get this nice center console with the captain's chairs in the Pro-4X. Very, very cool. Once we are down here, we do have climate controls. We can do fan speed and temperature. We have heated seats back here as well. Try to shade that to get a better look. We have 2 USB-Cs down here as well as a 12-volt outlet. Absolutely love to see that. Of course, we do have a big scraper because it is winter time here in Chicago. Cup holders, USB-Cs, but that is the big thing, is that now you do get captain's chairs in the back of the Pro-4X if you want that. Now we can reach all the way up there and open up. Dang it, I have to do it again. There we go. The roof, we do get a sky roof, which is absolutely lovely. The second row does get to enjoy it. I know you're staring right into the sun. I hope your room or wherever you're watching this isn't dark, because I probably just blinded you. But anyway, that is the second row, but we can climb into the third row, just like this. And I am in the third row. If I sit over here, you know, with this seat move forward a little bit, I do get a little bit more space, obviously. But we do have buttons over here, and that will actually decline and incline the seat I'm sitting in to the point where it will crush you. Ugh. So you can do that, you know, if you want. We also do get a USB-C as well. So very nice to see all of that. The third row is nice. For a big guy like me, I can fit back here. Again, would I want to ride in the third row? No, but I can fit back here. You can take all your friends, and it's a nice time. Let's hop out. Let's take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Armada Pro-4X, there is a button under here for the power-operated tailgate, which is absolutely lovely. And once we are back here, we do get a special Pro-4X, you know, bottom carpet, which is nice. And we do get these. These are actually Velcro stoppers to help cargo back here not move around. We'll start off over here. We do get a wall outlet. Absolutely love to see that. We have some tie downs and things like that. And then over here, we can raise and lower the vehicle by using those 2 switches to help load things. But we also have power switches for all of the seats. So not only those, but we can also do the seats up there. So by the press of 4 buttons, oh, it's not gonna let it because the headrest is too far up. Apologies, technical difficulties. Now by the press of 4 simple buttons once, you don't have to press and hold it. It is all down and you have tons and tons of cargo space. Absolutely love that. Now, the 2 seats up there, they just release and fold, so you have to put those back up manually, but you can put the rear row up by just the press of a button as well. So very, very nice to see that, and that definitely helps out with people who have bad backs or who might have strength issues. Love to see that. Come up here, you do get the tailgate button as well as the lock button. Simple, right back, easy down. All of the Armadas have this, so nothing too crazy for the Pro-4X. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is going to be the biggest change for the Pro-4X. It gets fender flares, it gets a unique front bumper with a better approach angle, it gets knobbier tires, it gets Pro-4X orange accenting. Overall, this thing looks mean, and it looks mean in a very dignified way. Toyota also does the TRD Sequoia. That has camouflage fender flares and looks very silly. I like this a lot better. It just looks ready for the task, and I am so incredibly thankful and happy that it is, at the end of the day, ready for the task. It doesn't just look the part, it actually drives the part. And that's the coolest thing. With all that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Pro-4X Armada? Now I've driven so many different trim levels of the Armada, at least all the special ones for sure. How do I feel about the Pro-4X? I love it, and honestly, this is my favorite trim level of the Armadas. This is probably the one I would take home. I like how goofy and silly the Armada Nismo is, but I just can't see myself actually buying one or really wanting one at the end of the day. This feels more usable, and I like being able to take a trail and go off-road and not really worry nearly as much. I like that a lot. The Pro-4X is a great trim level. It looks fantastic. It does the job it sets out to do. It's comfortable. It has good features, all of that. Now, why do I also call this the Nissan Patrol? Well, overseas in the Middle East, the Nissan Armada is called the Nissan Patrol. And for years and years and years, they have been two separate vehicles. The Patrol had very different upbringings than the Armada name. The Armada name was really created for the American market in the 2000s, and it was this sort of softer on-road 3-row, still body on frame, but, you know, more of a soccer mom kind of car, while out in the Middle East, they have to handle a lot harsher terrain. Well, for the very first time in Nissan's history, this Pro-4X is the exact same as the Patrol sold in the Middle East. Now, the Armada SL or SV, those are different. Those aren't going to be the same as the Patrol. But this, in the Pro-4X configuration, is part for part the exact same vehicle as the Patrol in the Middle East. Swap out the plastic badges on the front and back, change the language in the infotainment, and this is the exact same product. So, for all intents and purposes, I get to say that I am driving today a Nissan Patrol. But the bottom line is that this is an absolutely wonderful SUV, and I think truly one of the best 3-rows on the market. The 3.5 liter seems to have proved itself reliability-wise. The 9-speed is good, 8,500 pounds of towing, great features, looks wonderful, good to drive, and it is under 100K. I know that might not sound like the deal of the century, but in today's market, it's not the worst in the world. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nissan for letting me borrow their Armada Pro-4X for the last week. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.